So, hello, everybody. We are continuing with our series of connections. I'm Pastor Luke, and I have Brian and Cecilia Karber with us, all the way from Brazil. And I know that with COVID and the pandemic and the stay-at-home, that's created a lot of isolation and anxiety and things. But one of the great things, I think, at least for me and my family and others, is it's created this real need for community. It's expanded us online. And so I've been thinking of just, I can't believe I've never thought of actually doing a video call with our missionaries. And so it's an awesome opportunity just to hear from them and kind of what's going on there, what the Lord is doing in their ministry. And so I'm excited to hear from them. So with that, Brian and Cecilia, would you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing in Brazil?
Well, first of all, hello everyone from Boa Vista, Brazil. And just if you don't know where that is, it's in the North Amazon part of Brazil, right up by Venezuela. And we're working with a mission organization called Crossworld in partnership with a Brazilian mission called MEVA. And here in the northern part of Brazil, we're working with a number of different indigenous tribes. And the main ministry we work with is called MICALI. And MICALI stands for Ministério de Capacitação de Líderes Indígenas. For those who don't speak Portuguese, that means Ministry for Capacitating or Equipping Indigenous Leaders. And this ministry of MICALI has three different branches that we work with. The basic MICALI course is a 1-week Bible course that teaches different books of the Bible. Month of February, we taught a class on Revelation. We've also taught on the Pentateuch, the life of Christ, Romans, 1 Corinthians, Ephesians, and all kinds of other good books in the Bible. Another course is called Advanced MICALI. And Advanced MICALI is for trained pastors. And so with this course, we teach them how to preach, how to disciple, how to counsel, how to do all the things that pastors do, like marrying, burying, baptizing, all those different things that pastors do. And that course is a 4-year course that we finished last year, and we've had 84 graduates from that course, or 84 men who've graduated from MICALI, Advanced MICALI. And last year we started another kind of MICALI course called MICALI Theology, which is to teach the basic doctrines of the Bible. And the MICALI Theology course isn't only to teach pastors, but also Sunday school teachers and worship leaders, so that they can teach in their own churches, teach the basic Bible doctrines, the children, the youth, to adults, and also through worship. And so with that ministry, we've encouraged the students to write new worship songs, and so we've been starting to distribute those throughout the churches as well. So that's the main thing we're involved here in Brazil, and among a number of different other things as well.
What led you to Brazil?
Well, God did. Well, Cecilia was born here, so and that's what brought her to Brazil. Her parents did. But I was, when I was at Good News Fellowship, when I was a youth, I was in the youth group, and at one of the national youth conferences, I was really challenged by the Lord to give my life to Him, to do anything, go anywhere. And I had no idea where that would be at the time. And my last year in high school, we went on a mission trip to Mexico. And so at that time, I was really sure that God was leading me somewhere to the mission field, somewhere outside of the United States. Had no idea where that would be. Then I went to Bible college at Multnomah and graduated from there. And before I graduated, I'd been reading different missionary biographies and different things. And that's how I got to know about our mission organization on Crossworld. Was through a missionary who was a representative there. And he was a missionary in Irian Jaya, just in Papua, over there near Australia. he invited me to go on a internship there. So I spent 2 months in that place, and I was hooked on missions and on tribal missions. So God was sort of kind of narrowing down the different options that he was leading me to. And a couple months after that trip, this mission organization sent out a magazine talking about all the different places where they worked. And one of them talked about this place called Roraima, Brazil, which is the state where we're at now. Talking about the different needs and opportunities. And so I asked God to send workers there. And I felt like God was saying, well, what about you, Brian? Why don't you go there? And so I had no good answer to say no. And so I decided to pursue that. And so the doors opened up, and here I am 24 years later.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How has COVID-19, the coronavirus, affected first off Brazil, and then your ministry? What do things look like there?
Brazil is still, kind of behind where the U.S. is right now as far as deaths. I think today it was up to a little over 200 deaths in all of Brazil, a little over 5,000 or 6,000 cases. Here in our state, we have 22 cases now, no deaths yet. One of those cases is one of our Meva missionaries, one of our Brazilian missionaries. He's actually hospitalized right now. And so with that, travel has been pretty much banned or limited. And so we had plans to go to the U.S. now in April for home ministry assignment, and those have been postponed at least until September, maybe later. Also, all of our trips to the villages, usually we make at least 1 or 2 visits to the villages every month, and those now have been also canceled. We're going to make a trip to a village this Easter for a special Easter conference, but that has been canceled as well. So instead of traveling here, there, and everywhere, now we're staying at home.
Oh. What are you doing at home? Do you have any projects that you're working on? I don't know, any skills to trying to improve?
Yeah, actually, when we're not traveling, we work from home all the time. So a lot of things are just staying the same as far as what we do at home, except now it's just a prolonged period of time that we're doing that. One of the things that I work on when we're in town is writing course syllabuses for the Mikali theology courses. So just yesterday, I finished the revision of the course on Christology, and that'll be supposed to be given in July. We'll see if that actually happens or not. And today I just started working on Soteriology, on the doctrine of salvation. So I'm just starting to get my feet wet on that.
Yeah.
Salvation, and so a lot of really exciting topics to study on.
What are you most excited about with Soteriology? Any fun or challenging topics within that you are excited to dive into?
Well, one of the things we want to teach the indigenous leaders is to kind of know where the minefields are in theology, those sticky topics that, people have been debating for centuries, and to know what those are and how to approach those in a peaceful, loving way. And, know the different opinions and different beliefs that different Christians have, and to know that we can live with that. But also, to really make it clear what is salvation, because I think there are a lot of people that call themselves Christians, but don't really understand what that's all about. And also the fact that, being a Christian isn't just getting life insurance to go to heaven, but it's also a life that is changed, and it's a process that, we're saved in one moment, but then how that works out is the rest of our lives and how that changes. So, yeah. So it's always really a challenge to take really complex ideas and teachings and try to make them simple and practical and relevant. Because theology, a lot of times people think it isn't relevant, but it really is. Once you understand what it's trying to get at. So.
Amen. Preaching to me. That's awesome. I love it. What's one? So you're involved in missions. What's one common misconception that Western culture or we here in America have about missions that you would say needs to die?
I think one thing is that the church and missions are two different things. Because, Jesus gave one mission to the church, which is the same mission he gave to missions. So, and that's to make disciples of all nations. And so, if missions isn't making disciples, can you really call it missions, right? And if the church isn't making disciples, can you really call it a church?
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of times we make sort of a separation between missions. It's sort of a department, sort of this sort of exotic thing that the church sort of does every once in a while. But it's actually the heartbeat of the church. I mean, it's what should be happening in the church and through the church. And so a missionary isn't just a satellite that's sort of out there doing weird things in a weird place, speaking a weird language, but he's doing the ministry of the church, just in a different place, in a different context. And so, the church needs to be engaged in mission and really look at culture with missionary eyes, to see the culture, the context, and how to minister in that context. In the States, even, right now, it's really important because it's, culture has changed and it's in transition and it's not the same as it used to be, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And sometimes we need to look at our own country through missionary eyes. And so, that idea that missions and the church are different things, they're one and the same.
Amen. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Cecilia, we haven't heard much from you. Would it be okay if I asked you how you ended up in Brazil, and then maybe did you ever think you were going to be in missions with someone?
Right. I ended up in Brazil because I was born here,
Yeah.
first of all, right? But about missions, actually, since when I went to church, growing up in church, always loved going to the missions trip in my church. So I went to all of the trips that my church went to. So just loved it. And after some time, and I was really reached by Jesus through his gospel. When I understood, because I was going to all the trips, not understanding very much, So when I was reached by Jesus truly, and then I understood I had to do something else. So I was working there in São Paulo, not here in Boa Vista, in my state, my home state, where I was born. And I was working there, so I said to Jesus, I have to do something more. So that's when I understood by the Bible and the word, and through my pastor too, that I could take the first steps to go to mission. So I prayed, Lord, I don't want to go by myself. I just want to go with somebody that it would be easier for me to go somewhere. So then when he showed me Brian, and I ended up with him, and then came here with him too.
That's awesome. How far away are you from where you grew up?
It's like 6 hours from
by jet.
Yeah,
okay.
From here.
So it's like across the country.
Far away.
Uh-huh. Well, hi, Hans Caroline.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so I have just a few more quick questions for you, and then I'm going to open it up for Hans and Caroline and others to ask you any questions that they might have. So just calling this a lightning round, so just one word answers. What is your favorite food?
It's me or Brian?
Both of you.
Favorite food?
Yes.
Oh, lots of hamburgers.
Ooh.
Ravioli at Rascal Restaurant in São Paulo.
Ah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite word?
Mine is Michalita, which I have to explain that. It's Michalite, which is the Michali students. And it's sort of like a band of brothers, these guys that are just sold out for the Lord and really a crazy bunch.
Mine is Grace.
What was the last book you read?
Right now I'm reading 2 books. I'm reading Unlocking the Missional Code and also People Person.
Are you a people person?
Huh?
I said, are you a people person?
Not, maybe
Wants
not
to be
naturally.
more,
Yeah, I'm
right?
trying to improve on that.
Sorry.
I read Worship Matters from Bob Coughlin about worship.
Oh, I love Bob Coughlin. Yeah. Oh, Sovereign Grace, they're so good. What's a unique talent that you have?
It's not a unique, but it's a new talent I just discovered, is making scrambled eggs.
Ooh.
Bravo.
Yeah, so I learned that when Cecilia was on bed rest or something. So
Yeah, and I like his scrambled eggs. So
they're nice and fluffy.
What's the secret?
Well, you have to whip them up before you, in a bowl before you start, and then not put on too high a heat, and then just mix them constantly as you're in the pan. So,
Cecilia, what's a unique talent of yours?
well, I love playing the guitar while I worship. So I've been leading worship from a long time. So I like doing that, praising the Lord through songs.
Another one is picking up accents really quick.
Oh.
Like she can imitate any accent in Brazil, and she can really picks up the language as well too because of that.
Oh.
I'm a parrot, you know.
All right, one last question. How can we be praying for you and for the for you, for Brazil, for the indigenous peoples there?
Yeah, and so for the indigenous people, just really God will protect them right now. We're in contact with some of them through social media, and a lot of them don't really understand the gravity of the situation right now. We're trying to communicate to them. They need to stay home. They need to isolate. But in their villages, they're having birthday parties and they're having graduations, and they're all wanting to come to town, and we're telling them to stay home. And so because if it gets to them, I mean, a lot of them kind of weakened immune systems, and there are a lot of elderly people, and it really have devastating effects. So we want to pray for them, that God would keep them out of harm's way. And also, for us, be able to continue to have an influence and to stay focused, and to know what we can do and what we can't do. So the wisdom to do that. So, the wisdom in writing this course, but also maintaining contacts even with the isolation.